Sorry it's so loud. I'll just be real quick. I'm out of town right now. It's my daughter's 18th birthday, so I'm not here. Today's video is part 2 of yesterday's video about why we left California, why we moved to Tennessee, and all of that. It's a good video, but I didn't have time to add in any kind of video or B-roll or music or anything. It's literally just me talking to you like I am right now. So if you're new to the channel, usually I try to edit the videos better, make them a little spicier, a little more entertaining to watch. This one is not that. So I apologize, but I know how you guys get. If I don't put a video out, your life goes to crumbling shambles. I didn't want that to happen, so I just wanted to give you a heads up. It's not fancy, but it's a video. Thanks for watching.
Let's move on to Tennessee, why we picked this place. Now, Tennessee was among a few states that we were looking at when we actually decided to leave California. Prior to us deciding to leave the state, my family and I, my wife and 3 kids, we were living in San Diego, and we sold everything, bought a travel trailer, and hit the road full-time for almost 4 years. And we visited, for lengthy periods of time, every state except Alaska, some of South Dakota, and Hawaii. From that trip, we had narrowed down a list of states that were pretty high potentials for us. They were Tennessee, Florida, Charleston, South Carolina, specifically Charleston. This one's Charleston, and Williamsburg, Virginia. Those were our top 4 states that we were most interested in. Now, Virginia and South Carolina kind of went out fast just because while we love Charleston and Williamsburg, there wasn't a ton else in those states that were huge draws for us. Whereas Florida and Tennessee, we liked pretty much everything in those states. Florida kind of got ruled out just because it doesn't have 4 seasons, and we really appreciate all 4 seasons. So that kind of left Tennessee at the top of our list. What sealed the deal for us was this property that I'm filming this video from right now. I do have a pros and cons list though for Tennessee, and I will start with the pros of Tennessee that we've discovered since being out here. First one is what I wrote down. A place that makes you proud to live in, where decisions are made for the state that you agree with. Anytime you turn on the news in California, it was always like, oh my gosh, why? What did they think? Why would they do that? What a bunch of idiots. Why would... And in Tennessee, although we haven't had a lot of time to follow the local politics or changes here, the few things that we have heard that have happened, we've been like, oh, that makes sense. You just at least don't feel like you're screaming at the TV or phone, really. The culture out here is a lot more aligned with the type of lifestyle we want to live, which is, according to my notes, the pace is slow. People value morals and basic decency. While Californians are generally very focused on themselves and their own world, Tennessee seems much more interested in you, helping you, being courteous to you, having local agencies reach back out. Oh yeah, that was a note. And this is very true. You find this to be, the case. Anybody who's especially born and raised in this area, in the South, they genuinely seem to care about you. Whether you're driving on the highway, although that's, people get a little crazy on the highways anywhere, but people still hold the doors open. They pay attention to you. They look you in the eyes and smile and wave, they shake your hand. They seem genuinely happy to meet you and talk to you. I think Californians get a bad rap. People aren't rude in California. I think people are genuinely kind. It's just that the pace in California is very fast. You don't notice it until you move to another state, but the pace is quick. You've got things to do, places to go. You don't have time to sit here and have a conversation. Just give me my coffee. I gotta go. It's one of the things that actually gets a little bit annoying sometimes is, literally yesterday, my wife and I were at a restaurant. There was a picture on the wall. We didn't know who it was, and the guy next to us seemed to know who it was. And we were like, do you know who that guy is? Because he seemed familiar. He was an actor. That led to literally about a 20-minute conversation of this guy just going on and on about everything he knew about that area. And friendliest guy in the world, but we were just like, you don't understand body language at all? Social cues, just oblivious to those. You go into a store, people, you even begin inkling of starting a conversation, and they're like, well, hi, let's talk for all day. And you're like, nope, I gotta go. We realize still that we have a lot of California in us. We just want to go in, get things done, move, quick, go. And that's not the pace here. The pace is laid back, it's slow, so let's have a conversation. Anyways, it's a pro and sometimes a con, but that's just because we have a lot of California left in us. Another thing is around here, there is a genuine, real appreciation for blue-collar workers, patriotism. People love America here, which is rare because in California, people treat you as you're an American. Well, I hate your guts. I'm like, well, you're an American too. No, I'm not. Anyways, out here, people love this country and they work hard. They don't drive trucks to look like a truck person. They drive trucks because they need the truck. They use it. People wear boots around here, not because it's fashionable, but because they need them for work. I personally really like that. There's also, maybe surprising to you, maybe not, there's a ton of young families out here. And they're not just locals here. I mean, the interesting thing, it's gonna be, I hope not a con, but we meet, when we go to our local town here, the closest town to where we live, we will generally, in any given day, run into more people from California than people who are born and raised in this area. I mean, maybe it's like half and half, but most of the time, it's the other way around. There's people, it's kind of scary because I'm afraid that people are going to come here and start to do the same thing they did in California here. I think, though, that most people who are moving here from California are moving here to get away from all of that, and they don't want anything to do with what caused California to become California. That's my hope. There's so many stories. We should have a conversation about this. This is supposed to be an entertaining video, and I've got to get you to watch to the end so that YouTube boosts this video. So I got to keep it short here. Stick with me. Don't leave this channel. That's what people used to say when there were channels on television anyways. Oh, the obvious thing, prices across the board are so much lower here. Even though the housing market's going through the roof, every day it's just going higher and higher. It's cheaper in general. I mean, insurance, gas, fuel, licensing of any kind. If you need a license, the county we're in, you don't even need a license for practically anything. They're just, it's so weird coming here because we're like, so what can we do with our land? Like, what do we need licenses for? What do we need permits for? And they're like, it's your land, do whatever you want. And we were like, huh? In general, there's just common sense here. Things that I think being in California for so long, I'm just almost like immune to the idea of common sense. Like, what is that? And then you come here and people are like, things like that, like, it's your land, do what you want with it, it's yours. What do you mean? We don't need our permission to do anything. And I'm like, what? Another thing as far as weather here is that you truly get all 4 seasons, which I love. Living in Northern California most of my life, I thought that we had 4 seasons, and we do to some extent, but they were very, very mild. Here, you get the full extent of every season, which I absolutely love. Spring is beautiful with flowers, the temperatures are perfect, the sky is blue, things are in bloom, it's beautiful. Summer is pretty dang hot. You know what's interesting though, is everyone told me about the humidity, and there is humidity here. You can't get around that. It's a part of life here, but it's not as bad as I thought. I had never really spent much time in humidity, so I had this idea in my head that this is gonna kill me. It's not that way. I don't think it's that bad at all. In fact, my wife kind of prefers it. But the other thing is that the temperatures don't really get that high. California, you would get, especially in like the Sacramento Valley, temperatures would linger 100, like in the hundreds, low hundreds for weeks at a time. And the pavement would be 1,000,000 degrees, and the sky would turn just like this white. It wasn't even blue anymore. It was just like a hazy white, just hot. The state was just dried out, fried. Everything. Here, summers are green. You get lots of rain through the summer, which maybe you like, maybe you don't. I love the rain personally because it looks like a fall, cool day when it's just hot. It's like you can go in. Anyways, I love the weather in the summer. It's not bad. And really, we went through one summer, and at least gauging the summers based on last summer, it really didn't get really hot and humid until July and August. Like June, not so bad. September, not bad. But the temperatures, so in California, the temperatures get hot. It's just your car's 1,000,000 degrees. Here, we've noticed the temperatures don't really get that high. Like, it's kind of rare to get a day that hits the 90s. Maybe it happens more often. I don't know. We're new to the state, but most of the days we're in like high 80s. It was just with the humidity. It feels, muggy, but it's not like temperature hot. It's interesting. It wasn't as bad as we thought, is the point. Fall is gorgeous. Lots of fall leaves, at least where we're at, Middle Tennessee. There's this one road in particular. It's called the Trace. It is drop dead gorgeous. It looks like the East Coast. I mean, there's fall colors galore. Beautiful. And it cools off. Like, it feels like a crisp fall, like exactly what you want. Winters here are kind of bleak, which I, turns out, really like. The leaves fall off the trees, and then for like 2 or 3 months, there's no leaves on the tree. It's not green anymore. Every other season, it's green, it's beautiful. Winter, all the green goes away for the most part. There's still some green, there's still some grass, there's still some trees that have green. But the thing that it does is when spring hits and all the green comes back, it really feels like it's just distinct seasons. I really like that. Another thing is the location. We really like a lot on the East Coast. Like I said, we love Williamsburg, we love Charleston, we like the Northeast, we like Florida. Tennessee, at least from California's standpoint, since living here in Tennessee, we've drove to Williamsburg and Charleston, like literally drove there. And the drive, we got to the location, we're like, that was not bad. I mean, it's a little ways away, but California is a huge state. So if you live in California and you like to explore the state, you're used to driving far distances. So here, whereas in California, you drive, 16 hours, you stay in the same state. Here, you drive 16 hours, you can be in many different states, many different places all over the East Coast. So we love that. What else? Bourbon. Some great bourbon all over here. Tennessee and Kentucky, of course. If you like bourbon like I do, there's a lot of good stuff out here. There's also really good food in Tennessee. It's changed a lot, even in the we've been coming to Tennessee for about 10 years now. And even in the little time that we've been coming, the food has changed dramatically. Still not California, but there's some really good places. And it's not just fried Southern food. I mean, there's really good food, all different types. Tennessee is also a pretty dang cool state. I mean, when I talked about California being a cool state, that was like a real thing for us. Tennessee has some very cool places, especially around the Nashville area. We've been to a lot of cities in the country, and many, many, many cities in the country look like any other city. They don't stand out. They don't have their own identity. Nashville and the outskirts of Nashville has so much its own identity. Anyway, I could go on and on. It's a very cool place. You get more for your money here, of course, with property. Property is just, you get property here. You get land much more easier than California. California, you get a little lot. Here you get acreage pretty easily. That's just commonplace. And there's a lot of cool places nearby. Here in Middle Tennessee, where we live, we have Franklin, Nashville, Huntsville, Pigeon Forge. Pigeon Forge is like the Las Vegas of Nashville. No. Las Vegas of Tennessee. A lot of cool places within the state that we're still discovering. There's more and more that we're discovering all the time, but lots of cool places to visit, very close by. You know what I didn't write down? The cons. So I have to think of the cons on the fly. Just off the top of my head, I want to be super honest about what the cons have been living here so far. All right, one is the summers and the humidity. Again, they're not as bad as I thought, but it's still, compared to California where it's dry and perfect weather all the time, it's humid. The grass grows like lunatically fast out here. Like we have 10 acres and you have to literally mow the lawn like once a week. And if you don't mow the lawn, the insects will kill you. They are everywhere. Ticks are pretty plentiful. If you have tall grass, and your dogs run out in the tall grass, they will have a lot of ticks. And you'll probably find ticks on you. That's why you've got to keep the grass cut low. If you keep the grass cut low, you're good, but that means you have to cut it a lot, very frequently, because it grows like crazy. Rain is pretty normal here. You get quite a bit of rain. I love rainy, cloudy days, so I love when that happens. But if you're the kind of person who is coming from California and you love the sunshine, I mean, you get plenty of it, but you're going to get a lot more rain than you're used to. Tornadoes are a thing, pretty severe weather, and I love severe weather, so I love that. I don't like tornadoes, but I love a good thunder shower and high wind. As long as I know I'm safe, which you never know you're safe, but you know what I mean. If it's not a potential for a tornado that's going to kill you, it's just like hard weather, I love that, but something to be aware of. You are in the Bible Belt here, so that can be good or bad for you. There is deep rooted within the local culture of people who are like born and raised here is this just Bible belief. I mean, there are 50,000 churches per square mile in Tennessee. Like, it's a very big part of the state, at least if you're born and raised here. Not that people are pushy about it or anything like that, but it's just something we've been very aware of. Like, it's ingrained in everything. Like, banks have just scriptures that are on the marquees, and people say God bless all over the place. So again, you may love that and be like, what are you talking about? That's not a con. But it can be for some people. For some people, it's like, okay, quit throwing this in my face. It's just something to be aware of. It is the culture out here. It's definitely a part of people who are local here. But again, most people we meet are from California. So California's Sin City, right? So, like I said, the food isn't California standards, but it's changing. It's getting there. Outside of the cool places in Nashville, and there's quite a few cool towns around here, but for every really cool town, there's probably 5 or 10 not so cool towns. I mean, whereas in California, there's so many quaint, cool places in California, just little towns everywhere. Here, there's gems, and the gems are true gems because, like I said, for every one gem of a town, there's a lot of others that are just very kind of depressing and like, boy, they really, it feels like you're walking back in time, but not really in a cool way. More like, geez Louise, do they know what year it is? You do get some of that, which again could be good or bad. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying, I'm trying to list everything that we've noticed as like, oh, this is a real thing. Like you hear about these things, it's maybe a stereotype, but then you come out here and you're like, oh, it's a real thing. Like you drive through some towns, and literally we have said, how the heck does anybody live here? Like this is, good Lord. Like, there's towns like that. And I don't know that they're necessarily like dangerous towns. It's not like going to the Bay Area. It's not like walking through Oakland in California, I don't think, but there's just a lot of rundown towns and places. But they have a lot of character too. So I kind of like those places. I think there's a lot of beauty and coolness to be found in the rundown and overlooked and, but it's definitely a thing in some places. I don't mean to say that it's all over the place. I mean, thing with Tennessee right now that we've noticed is it is booming. It is changing fast. So even some of these towns that you could tell probably 5 years ago were pretty dang run down, they are being like changed fast. And that's going on all over the state. So it's a changing state, and that's part of the excitement of it. Other negatives are, I don't know. I mean, outside of that, it's kind of personal cons, but there's nothing really that stands out as like, okay, you got to watch out for this because this is a real con. There's nothing really like that. I mean, the people are wonderful. The state's beautiful. You get more for your money. People are more aligned with how I see the world, which again, you could see that as a pro or a con. In general, we have not even come close to regretting our decision. If anything, the longer we're here, the more happy we are with the choice we made to live here. The only thing about it is we're still renovating this house, so we don't actually feel like we live here yet. We feel like we just have been working. You know that stage when you're about to move out of a house when everything's in boxes and it's like it's still your house, but you don't feel like you're really living there. Like you're just working every day, you're packing stuff, you're just getting ready for the move, and you're in that limbo mode. It feels like it's been that way since we moved to Tennessee. So I don't feel like we've really like moved in and lived here yet. It's just been more like we're working here. And once we get this place done, then we can kind of relax and begin living here. So maybe I'll do an update once we've actually lived here for a while. But for now, it's been almost a year and we absolutely love it. Hopefully that's helpful. If you're looking to move out here or move out of California, there's a lot of great places outside of California. It's unfortunate because I love that state. It's the best state in the country, in my opinion, but it's just unlivable anymore, at least for me. If you like this video, don't turn away yet. I've got so many things to tell you. Hold on. Why would you click away? Well, you were about to click away. I could tell. You were just like, the video's over. No, it's not. I've got so many good things to say here. I'm just going to blow your mind. First of all, I'm now on, what the heck's it called? I am starting to upload content to Rumble, which is another social media platform. If you're a part of Rumble, or if you'd like to be, you should follow me over there so I can build my following on that platform. Also, I've been posting quite a bit to TikTok and Instagram. You can follow me there, Suburban Pilgrims. Follow me there. Follow me on my channel. Follow me. These are just the announcements. If you've ever been to a church, there's an announcement part. This is the announcement part, and it's important that you listen to these. Anyways, if you will do everything in your power to help me grow this channel, I'm trying to take YouTube very seriously. I eventually want to do this full time. The only way I can do that is to eventually make money with it, which is a long process. It's very difficult, but if you can help me get the word out about the channel, share it, subscribe if you haven't, and you can support me on Patreon if you just want to give me money directly. I will take it. The more money I can make the more money I can make with YouTube, the more I can justify the time spent trying to build the channel. I mean, I'm doing it right now. It's going to be a freebie for a long time, but as I can slowly start to earn more and more through YouTube, I can give it more and more time because it's more justified. It's not take any time. Anyways, that's a long conversation. Thanks for watching.